All right, today I'll share with you 7 kind of tips or strategies that I teach my clients, or when I take the role of being a coach, especially when someone is trying for a new job or considering a job offer. Consider it today as a gift. I'll give you these points for free. Okay, there are 7 actually. Go through them and give me your thoughts. What do you think? Do you agree, disagree? What do you feel about these points that I'm going to share? See, generally when you apply for a new job or you've got a job offer, the most important thing that they give you is salary. They'll say, this is a salary I'm ready to offer you. Okay. The mistake most people do is they just calculate, okay, this salary is higher. Okay, it's higher than what I'm getting. And in most cases, if people get a 20% higher or 30% higher, they'll automatically say yes. But this is the mistake that people generally do. And I'll tell you why. Number one is, if they're ready to offer you 20% or 30%, question is, how do you know that they didn't have a buffer for 50%? Like maybe they could have offered you a little bit more. That's always the case. And always keep in mind, a company is a business entity. If they are offering you, let's say, for example, you asked for 100, they are offering you 120. I can assure you, when the HR and the finance, they sit, they don't make the budget 120 and they offer you 120. They always have a range. And they might say, okay, maximum we can push for 150. That comes to how you negotiate, which is totally a different video altogether. Those are pretty advanced level strategies. And many cases, you have to negotiate if you want a much better salary. And take it from me, in most cases, if you know the art of negotiation, you can always be considered for a higher pay bracket. Because remember, neither the guy knows you nor you know the company. They're both trying to play a game of poker. Okay? One side will try to give you the lesser salary and try to save some money. One side will try to increase. And the HR and the finance department always, they are in conversation and discussions with each other. And then obviously they'll take feedback from the guy who took your interview, the technical or the manager, and say, what do you think? Is this guy worth it? All right, so then comes the part of the salary that you need to consider. And that is, I think, the most important bit is, you spoke about salary, right? Okay. Did you evaluate how much time it takes to travel to the office? Like, is it 15 minutes? Is it half an hour? Or does the commute take 1 hour? Does it take 2 hours? Because remember this much, your time is money. People generally don't count this. They think, I'll just travel, I'll listen to some music. Man, you're wasting your time in your life. Just think about this. If it takes 1 hour to reach the office, you have to also calculate the parking time, and sometimes parking itself is a headache sometimes. If they have a reserved parking for you, fine. But let's assume with parking everything is 1 hour. So to reach the office is 1 hour. To come back is another hour, correct? So now 2 hours of your life. Multiply these 2 hours of your life every day for, let's say, instead of 365 days a year, say roughly 300 days a year. That's 600 hours. 600 hours is how many, 8-hour shifts, Just calculate, how much is it? I'm very bad at maths, 8 8 advisor. Maybe you could say 5. Say 5 say roughly around a month or month and a half. So month and a half you are just spending, where 8 hours you could work in an office, you're spending on just traveling up and down. I'm not talking of full days. Isn't that stupid? See, remember this much. If you could save those 2 hours per day, you could study, you could go to the gym, you could spend time with your family. There's so many things you can do. Don't disrespect yourself where time is concerned. Always evaluate the distance. Now, I know you'll get, you might say that, yeah, that is your problem. Why don't you stay somewhere close? I can assure you, where it's the main city, the price is always higher. If you're staying in a low demand area, it's lower. Like for example, if you take UAE, Sharjah is cheap. Let's say Sharjah, the rent is 100. Dubai, which is the business hub, will straight away jump to 150. I'm just giving you rent, okay? 100, 150. Abu Dhabi, that is the capital, most expensive, 180. So one is, if you travel, you kind of more or less spend the same amount of money. But if you change your residence and book an apartment near to the office, it'll always be expensive. So keep the travel in mind. The next one is, if you're not planning to travel and you plan to shift, keep in mind you'll be paying extra in terms of rent. And if you move to a new city, it's not only rent, it's groceries, it's basic expenses. Everything will be more expensive, man. Some people dismiss, oh, I just have to spend $10 more on parking per day. Yeah, per day is 10. Multiply into 30 is how much? When you really evaluate your money, all these factors come into play. And then I think another area that people don't factor in, which is extremely critical. When you join a new company, they'll say 8 hours, okay, 8 hours you work and all that, and then you can go back home. Most companies that I know, unless it's the West, where they say you're paid per hour, so sharp 8 hours, they say go home. But when you join a new company, you have to take time to learn the processes, learn the procedures, learn the inner nuances of the company. You can't just be a newbie and say, okay, 8 hours is up. Okay, guys, see you, take care, I'm going. Now I know what you'll say. Oh, it doesn't make sense warming your chair and sitting in the office to impress the boss. I'm not talking impressing the boss. I'm talking of learning the job. You can't be a student during office hours. During office hours, you have to perform. And then, the extra hours is where you spend learning new skills to gain mastery, so that you can be considered as a leader, so that you can move ahead in life in terms of career progression. I don't think there's a single company on this planet who wants to promote a guy to a senior level position, who comes on time, leaves on time, doesn't give a damn about working hard or proving himself or learning new things. If I had two people to choose from, one guy who always rushes home as soon as time is up versus another guy who spends some time learning, developing new skills, and asking how he can be better at the job. As an employer, who wouldn't prefer the second guy? Then I think the next point that people fail to consider during a salary agreement is the factor that remember, the management or the company can always tell you, listen, we have this new project that is extremely critical. You might have to spend a few more hours working, or this project has to finish on time. Or they can say that, see, listen, we don't care how long you take. Make sure this project finishes within 1 week. And then when you evaluate, you realize, oh sheesh, if I work only 8 hours, I can't finish this in 1 week. I'll have to work 12 hours, 13 hours. Keep that in mind. And I think last, if not the least, that you need to factor in, when the HR and the finance want you to agree for a particular pay scale, they'll be very sweet, they'll be very nice, and they'll never tell you like this, the fine print. See, for example, one of my clients, he said this lady is very understanding, very nice. She's very senior in this company. I'm going to be working under her. She's going to be like a mentor, mother figure and all that. So I just listened to him, everything fine, okay, good. And he was trying to justify why he was going to accept a lower salary. But then I told him, let's assume after you joined, there's a change in management, or this lady resigns and leaves the job, or she gets replaced, or she gets a better job offer, or she moves ahead with her life, or let's say she dies, and you get a new boss, and the new boss is dying to prove himself. He has all this fire, and he says, nothing doing, you don't work for 8 hours, you work long hours. Or he says, I don't know what your contribution has been before, but we start from zero. You have to prove yourself to me. Or he says, I'm not going to train you. You have to learn by yourself. So that will involve you having more time. These are all realities that happen in companies. Then if that is offered, then what do you do, man? Then you're stuck, right? And keep in mind, once before signing the dotted line, they'll be very sweet and nice with you to want you to agree to a particular salary. After you sign the dotted line, you have to stick to the commitment. And you can't just suddenly say, no, I don't like this. You made me sign this and sign that. And 8 hours, they'll say, finish your work within 8 hours and go home, right? And I know, work never ends. So these are some of the factors you need to keep in mind, especially when agreeing for a salary. Because I'll tell you, the salary is the most important equation of your discussion with them. Most of the people, why do you work? You work for an income. You don't work for goodwill. You don't work for, I'm going to grow, and all that is fine. You will grow, okay? But who will pay your bills, man? So don't take it for granted, the salaried income, and please never fall for their promises. We'll evaluate you after 3 months, after 6 months. Based on your performance, we'll agree. What if they don't agree? Then what you'll do? Or what if they tell you market conditions are bad? Yeah, sheesh. Or no, this year we can't. We had assumed we were going to get this project. This project got cancelled. Or they tell you, payments have been delayed. We can't do anything. Or the owner, he's in a very bad state of mind. There was this massive loss that he incurred. Or they can even tell you, your performance not up to the mark, because they gave you so much of work to do. They wanted you to fail so that you wouldn't ask for more money. There are many ways that they can play this game. Just remember, end of the day, what you agree on, what is written on the piece of paper, what you sign on, and what you start from is what is important. And in some cases in the Middle East, even after signing the document, then there are salary delays. Oh, payment was not received. Or we're having problems, issues. Can you hold on for a few days? Can you hold on for a few weeks? Plenty of salary delays. And they'll give you all the bull and nice stories why your salary should be delayed. But salary can be delayed, but your work performance cannot be delayed. You cannot come to office late on time. So you are expected to maintain the standards. They are excused from maintaining the standards. I'm saying this from real life experience. Anyway, this is what I wanted to tell you about salaries. Now, with regards to negotiation and how you can get higher salary, that itself is another video, another topic. I'll focus on it next time. So did you find this salary bit helpful? If yes, let me know so I can make more topics like this. Now let's focus on the other bits, mistakes that people make when joining a new company. All right, give me a feedback with regards to this video. If you find it useful, and if you have any extra points. So let's move on to the next 6.